Good morning, class. Today I'm going to share an overview of the topic on thin converging lens. There are three learning objectives for O-level. Number one, describe the action of a thin lens on a beam of light. So, as the name suggests, it converges light. Then the next question is, where is the light converging to? It's converging to the focal point, as labeled F in the diagram. Secondly, you are to define the term focal length for a converging lens. So what is focal length? It's a distance. It's a distance from the lens to the focal point. Number three, draw ray diagrams to illustrate the formation of real and virtual images of an object by a thin converging lens. So I'm going to summarize that in my opinion, there are only two principles. Okay, two principles for ray diagram. Number one is called parallel. What do I mean by parallel? So observe the line that is parallel to the principal axis. Follow that line. It says that the light ray that is parallel to the principal axis on one side of the lens will pass through the principal focus on the other side of the lens. Number two, we call it center. So you can observe that the light ray that passes through the optical center of the lens will pass straight through without being bent. Then you may ask, I thought there is a third one. Actually, that is the reverse of the first one. A light ray that passes through the principal focus on one side of the lens will emerge from the lens in the direction that is parallel to the principal axis. Now, we have been fixed at this diagram. So we are actually able to use this principle, right, to move the object around and observe the image that is formed. Let's observe some trend. So when the object distance is greater than 1 times focal length, you're able to see that the image, is it inverted or is it upright? It's actually inverted. Is it real or virtual? It's real. Now, secondly, let's take a look at when the object distance is larger than 0 but smaller than 1 focal length. You are able to see that it is upright and virtual. Very good. And thus, you are able to see that number one, the focal 1 times focal length plays a very, very important role in the context of converging lens. So if you want something to actually memorize, and if you happen to speak Chinese, when I was learning this topic, I learned it in Chinese, and I have this 口诀 to share with you. So, focal length is actually called 焦距焦距 as in the distance. 一倍焦距定虚实正道. One time focal length decides on virtual, real, upright, or inverted. Now you may ask, then what does the second, right, 2 times focal length determines? So let's take a look. When an object distance is larger than 2 times focal length, what's going on? Here, you are able to see that the object is actually inverted, real, and smaller than the object. Okay, now when the object distance is greater than 1 times the focal length but smaller than 2 times the focal length, Let's observe. You are able to see that it's still inverted. It's real, but it is larger. So in Chinese, we call it 二倍焦距定大小 because the only difference is actually whether it's smaller or larger. And let's delve into more details when it is above 1 times the focal length. So we talk about it, right, all the way from when it's just larger than 1 time focal length to infinity. We have a general trend. Let's see. When the object is actually moved closer and closer, the image is moved further and further from the lens, and the image is becoming larger and larger. So in Chinese, we talk about this 物近向远向变大. Okay, and let's reverse the video, right? When we move it away, then you realize the image become closer and become smaller. 物远向近向变小. Right, and this applies to object distance greater than 1 times focal length. So in today's overview, we have actually talked about the learning objective, and we delve into 2 principles for ray diagram as well as the application. So at different instances, what is happening. Now chant with me if you're comfortable with Chinese. So 一倍焦距定虚实正道，二倍焦距定大小，物近向远向变大，物远向近向变小. Alright, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you very much.